say, you're now going to look, we're going to show you some undercover filming of what MBR say are happy, healthy and well cared for animals. Now, maybe the thing you've really got to hear here is the sound of all of this and the yelping. Oh, apparently there is no sound on this. I don't know why that is.
Well, I mean, we can describe the sound. I've watched all of this footage and all you can hear is puppies shrieking and quite clearly in distress. And not only that, walking around and in some cases eating each other's defecation. They're on their own for something like 15 hours a day.
And this has then been sent off to the labs to be tested. Yeah. Let's bring in Rosemary Reid now from Power of Dogs. What would you like to say? Because there are people outside who protest about this and they've done it for many, many years and media moves on and media doesn't seem to be interested. You've got to watch film like that to have a real opinion.
Yes, indeed. I was approached by a friend of mine who asked me to get involved and support the closure of MBR acres. And from the first off, the thing that has always stuck with me is the sound of, if you stand outside MBR acres, the haunting sound of all those dogs inside that are obviously very distressed. Yeah. I then thought, what can I do? How can I get involved? How can I help those campaigners that are 24/7 outside MBR? And I reached out, we both came together, Jill and I, and we discussed a plan of a way forward, because these dogs are bred at MBR, and from the age of 16 weeks old, they're taken to laboratories, tested on, with the most despicable...
Oh, the pictures we've seen, we can't show.
No, it's despicable.
Bleach going down their throat and things. Jill McGivern, however, is there a suggestion that there's any illegality here? I mean, there's a moral stance on all of this, but is there anything illegal?
Aidan, that is the really tragic thing here, because what MBR Acres are doing is licensed by our government, and that therefore makes it lawful. But it is wholly unnecessary, and I think a great many people don't actually know that we are bound by regulations in this country which require us to test any potential new medicine on 2 species. But it is also the case that if there is an alternative to testing that potential medicine not on an animal, we should do that. And yet the Home Office never enforce that. They don't oversee it. And parliamentary questions which have been asked over the last 2 years have shown that every single licence that has been granted by the Home Office to breed and to torture those dogs has been granted without any consideration, not for a second, of the fact that we no longer need to torture these animals because we have cutting-edge science. We could lead the world in this country using this cutting-edge science, which means we no longer need to do that. And this is over 3 million animals a year.
Well, MBR is saying the fact that animals are still used in research means that a suitable, validated alternative does not yet exist. Shannon Keith, are you any further down the road in the USA of bringing this sort of practice to an end?
We have amazing alternatives like organs on a chip. We're growing skin. We just closed down the horrific facility that Mamma Mia was from. And so we're excited to be partnering with these amazing women and bringing this knowledge and this amazing activity to the UK as well with Beagle Freedom Project UK. So we think that with all of this combined, this is a great thing that we can actually campaign for and do in the UK.
I want to ask you, Rosemary, I mean, there's this talk about if you bring in a new medicine or drug to treat human illnesses, it needs to be tested on 2 species. Why does one of those species need to be an animal that is a pet? You know, why a beagle? You know,
why not artificial intelligence? Why not a computer?
But, you know, what is it about beagles specifically? And what are you campaigning for? Is there a petition to try and liberate these dogs?
There is. Beagles, as you probably know as a dog lover, are the most gentlest and forgiving of all dogs. That is why they're especially chosen. No matter what abuse a human gives them, they'll come back with love and wanting you to give them cuddles. But, you know, for us, we would just want MBR as a start to shut down. These animals are left on their own from 5 o'clock in the evening till 7 o'clock the next day. They have no they have no toys, they live in filth, they have food that drops out, which goes on the floor where they have excrement. It's a disgrace the way they're being kept, and there is no need for this to be happening.
Yeah. Rosemary describes it as a disgrace. MBR Acres say we remain proud of what we do every day because our work allows the progress of medicine to improve. Jill, what are you calling for? Or do you say that, you know, this is just not, in 2022, this is just not the way we need to do things anymore?
It absolutely isn't. And if they use the word progress, let us look at the world in which we live. Let us look at the diseases and conditions which kill all of the people we know and love. Heart disease, cancer, dementia. There are no cures yet. Everyone will lose a loved one as a result of those conditions. And there are no cures because we are testing on animals and it doesn't work. But we can now, in this day and age, say we don't need to do it because the science is there now. As you say, organ on a chip. The Johns Hopkins University in the States, they are doing phenomenal research. They are moving closer to cures because they are not torturing animals.
Shannon Keith, just final word from you. What the Sussexes are doing here by adopting this beagle, what do you think this does? Why is that important?
It sends a message. It sends a message that this cruelty needs to end. It's unethical. And there she is again, sweet Mama Mia. And that people need to look at what's going on around in society. People need to shop cruelty-free. People need to get on board to stop animal testing. It is not scientifically valid and it's unethical and it just plain needs to stop. And if these wonderful people are adopting this wonderful dog and are in support of this, everybody else should be in support of it too. There's just simply no need. Let's end this right now.
Shannon Keith is from the Beagle Freedom Project. Thank you very much indeed for your time and for highlighting this. In studio, Rosemary Reid, founder of The Power of the Dog. She's got a petition, look that up, The Power of the Dog. And Jill McGovern is a solicitor advocate as to the legality of all of this. And unfortunately, it is legal as endorsed by our government. Get in touch with your MP, see what they have to say about this. The real tragedy about what we showed today is that it had no sound, because that's what you needed to hear. Yeah. And also we can't show you the pictures from the actual laboratories which carry out the tests. They force animals to smoke cigarettes, inhale cigarette smoke. Yeah,
and these are animals that are bred in captivity, that they never see a blade of grass or feel a drop of rain.
But they get bleach put down their throat. And they have all sorts of cosmetics tested on them,
and
whatever.
All they want is love.
Rosemary, I've tried to describe it as best I can. Do you just have in 15 seconds some way just to sum the horror of all of this up?
It is horror. It's something that as a country of so-called dog lovers, this should not be going on in this country.
Okay. But it is going on in Witton, in Cambridgeshire, MBR Acres. And to the people who are out there protesting, Jill, anything you would... And they've done it for a long time without much recognition.
Eamon, they are heroes. They've already been through one winter sleeping at the side of the road in silent prayer to save those animals which are being bred on rotation. They are heroes. But I thank you, Eamon, so much for saying to the people listening to you today, please contact your MP. We're moving through to a general election. If people out there, now that you've brought this to their attention, do contact their MP and say, change this. We can change it. We should change it.
May I ask if they go on to the Power of Dogs and sign the petition, on social media?
Yeah, OK, thank you.
We'll put
guys,
that link on our site.
We're out of time. I hope we've done our bit today. And do you know what? I think if we can invite the guys back in the future, this will be a story. If it matters to you, it matters to us. It certainly does matter to us. And, you know, if you want to say something about this, we'll talk about it again. Thank you for watching today. Have a pretty decent bank holiday, whatever you're up to. Isabel and I